3.
Oh, since we have to go this way, it kind of makes sense then.
Thank you all for being here today. My name is Mark Cummins. I'm the president of the Minnesota Credit Union Network. And we're here for a number of purposes, but primarily we're here to talk about cooperatives. October is the Cooperative Month. We as credit unions and the Credit Union Network, we are financial cooperatives. In fact, we are in the sector of not-for-profit financial cooperatives. In Minnesota, we have, our credit unions have over 400 different locations throughout the state, serving over 1.6 million members in the state of Minnesota. We are fortunate to be in a sector where we have the opportunity to work with people every day. And our mission goes beyond the service of the financial needs of our members, but to help to build stronger communities and make a connection to our communities and our members in a way that helps them have a stronger financial future for themselves, to help them have the opportunities to be successful in their lives and improve the lives of their families and their children. But we also have the obligation as a cooperative that is operated for the benefit of our membership to build a better community for all of us to be in. And that's a big part of what we do with our credit unions in Minnesota. Now, we did a brief survey this month of talking to some of our credit unions about the work that they do within their communities. And so we had a snapshot from about 30 of our credit unions that indicate that just within the first 7 months of the year, we had over $300,000 that was contributed into our communities, and well over 100 different groups benefited from that. All of this is designed in an intentional way to help build stronger communities for where we live. Now, we often don't talk about this very much because it's part of what we do. It's part of ingrained in our nature as co-ops. And it's not so much that we give back, it's part about building a cooperative spirit and a cooperative network. Now, when we talk about that, we have a number of credit unions that actually were originally formed to serve members of co-ops. Minnesota has the largest cooperative community in the country. We had the first law that was passed in the country to enact legislation for the benefit and organization of co-ops. We have a tremendous number of both co-ops and co-op members in a variety of sectors. And we're a large agricultural state, and so we have a big sector in agriculture. But we have cooperatives that are in a number of different sectors as well, and we'll be talking about some of those later on. But one of our credit unions that was in fact formed to serve members of Cooperative is our host today in Heartland Credit Union. And so Kathy Harrington, the president of Heartland Credit Union, is here today to talk about the great work that they do. Kathy?
Thank you, Mark. I am Kathy Harrington, the president here at Heartland Credit Union. And I'd like to take just a little bit of time to say and tell you a little bit about Heartland. We were chartered the state of Minnesota as Farmers Union Employees Credit Union, and we opened our doors on January 3rd, 1939. We're actually celebrating our 75th anniversary this year for our members and for our communities. Today, Heartland Credit Union serves almost 10,000 members, and we're about $97 million in assets. Our field of memberships include CHS, Land O'Lakes, Chart Industries, Genix, Scott Equipment, and we also serve Dakota, Scott, Rice, and LeSueur counties. As a cooperative, we are always looking for ways to serve our members as well as our communities. We're very proud to offer a free meeting space to nonprofit groups at our Inver Grove Heights location, which includes the Boy Scouts of America, Toastmasters, National Association of Home Inspectors, educational groups, and more. We also have this meeting space used on a weekly basis at no cost to a business networking group in Inver Grove Heights. We offer free marketing in our branches for local community events. We offer an annual Heartland Scholarship to any of our members participating in higher education. We have a total of $2,000 awarded, one $1,000 winner and two $500 winners. We host a coat drive and a personal care drive to benefit local Inver Grove Heights and New Prague assistance programs. We offer free seminars to all our members. Topics include college planning, investment strategies, identity theft, and the wise use of credit. Heartland also donates time and money to a variety of community events and events within CHS and the Land O'Lakes. including with the official sponsorship of the Inver Grove Heights Easter egg hunt, the Inver Grove Heights Royalty Program, donating free meeting space for the program events, and in addition to donations for candidate sponsors, contributor and volunteer at local Inver Grove Heights family events such as the annual Boo Bash, Safety Camp, the Holiday on Main, Neighbors Duck Race, and Movies in the Park. We're also a contributor to the Inver Grove Heights Firefighters Relief Association. We are a contributor and volunteer in the local New Prague events, such as the New Prague Marathon, the Dozinki Days, school fundraisers, the Mayo Clinic fundraisers to support healthcare advancements in New Prague and the surrounding area. And then we support a local food shelf. We participate as a United Way contributor for both CHS and Land O'Lakes fundraising efforts. We are a participant and supporter of the wellness projects and presentations for Land O'Lakes and CHS employees. We are a supporter of local schools and booster clubs, which includes career days of Simling High School, financial wellness presentations at Inver Hills Community College, and partnering with the New Prague High School economics teacher to give interested students the opportunity to work in the financial field at our local branch. Heartland is very proud to commit time and money each year to a variety of community programs and efforts. Serving our members is a top priority, and that includes serving the communities they live and work in. I'd like to now introduce Casey Carlson, the Vice President of Marketing and Strategic Planning at SPIRE.
Hi, I'm Casey Carlson. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Planning at SPIRE Credit Union. Happy to be here today to celebrate Cooperative Month, as October is the month of the cooperative. The cooperative roots of SPIRE run fairly deep. We started off as Twin City Co-op's credit union almost 80 years ago, and our original charter was to help with cooperatives and be part of the cooperative movement. I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes about a couple of initiatives we have involving cooperatives that are pretty interesting. The first one has to do with our co-branded Visa credit card that we partner with area food cooperatives. This is pretty interesting. We have co-branded cards, so the name and logo of the credit card is on the front of the card, and whenever a member of the cooperative uses the card, the cooperative gets money back in the form of interchange back to their foundation. This has been a pretty nice program that we've had. So if a member from Seward's, the Wedge, Valley Natural uses the card, the money goes right back to the cooperative. Now, to be clear here, that we're not talking about finance charges here, we're talking about the interchange. So member of the Wedge, if they use their card every month and they pay off the card, they still get that revenue back to the cooperative, and the member pays no finance charges. So we're trying to teach responsible behavior of a credit card at the same time the cooperative wins. So it's a triple win. The cooperative wins, the member wins, and the credit union wins. So we're pretty excited about that. So another initiative that we're piloting this, and it has to do with for lack of a better word, right now we're just calling it a coupon, but we're partnering with cooperatives, and if a co-op member, it's special coupons for cooperative members. So if a member of a co-op has this book and they come in, and let's say that they open up a checking account with one of our coupons. These coupons, the member will get $70, the cooperative will get $15 that goes towards their foundation. And so again, it's another triple win. The cooperative wins, the member wins, and the credit union wins. So we're pretty excited about that. We're trying it with a lot of different product lines, loans, checking, savings, things like that, and we're trying some different things, finding out what works best with that. So we're pretty excited about that. SPIRE has also been involved with co-op education. Annually, we sponsor the college conference on cooperatives, and it helps educate youth on cooperatives, and we generally have a speaker there to explain about what credit unions are as well. So pretty excited about that. Now, to support credit unions, our president CEO, Dan Schultz, is a member. He's on the board of the Cooperative Network, And so right now I'll invite Matt Hughes up from the Cooperative Network to speak on the Cooperative Network.
Thanks very much, Casey. I assume jokes are out. I've lost 10 pounds now, Christina, so I can't use the all fat jokes anymore. Anyway, just quickly, thanks to all of you who are here to promote credit unions as cooperatives. I think there is always a need to do this more than we already do. And I applaud Mark and his team's effort to get the word out on this because of the rich history that Minnesota, especially as the #1 co-op state in the country, has in cooperation and credit unions as financial cooperatives. This is very special as well. Others have mentioned, Casey as well, that it is co-op month. It has been declared co-op month since 1948 here in Minnesota, the first state in the nation to do so. So we're very proud of that as well, but it speaks to the fact that we are the #1 co-op state in the country. I want to thank our members here today as well that have been, that are joining in this celebration of credit unions. Thanks also to Heartland for hosting. I do want to thank, again, I mentioned Mark already, but the partnership between the Credit Union Network and Cooperative Network, I believe, is extremely strong. And we certainly appreciate from our side of the fence that relationship in promoting cooperation. My name is Matt Hughes. I am the Minnesota Managing Director for Cooperative Network. We are a 2-state trade association of cooperative businesses in Minnesota and Wisconsin. We the former Minnesota Association of Cooperatives and Wisconsin Federation of Cooperatives merged. In that, we do supply government affairs, education services, communications, technical services, and we have a foundation on the Minnesota side called the Minnesota Cooperative Education Foundation, supported, I believe, by some in this room, especially in large part the CHS, who supports that foundation very strongly. Our membership in Cooperative Network is extremely diverse, speaking a lot to what Mark Cummins spoke of early in his comments. We represent a wide variety in both Minnesota and Wisconsin of cooperative sectors. Minnesota does boast 800 cooperatives, roughly, providing products and serving 3.5 million member owners, from small co-ops to 3 that are on the, Fortune 500 list. We provide, the members rather, the co-op members in this state provide ag and marketing supply services, electricity, food, healthcare, housing, insurance, and of course, as we're talking about today, financial services as well. So that's all the services and more that cooperatives in the state provide. Just a couple quick notes on the principles of cooperation. Many in this room, of course, know that there's 7 principles of cooperation, and a couple of them that I want to emphasize today, given this group and the theme. One is cooperation amongst cooperatives. That's Principle 6. We sort of operate under that banner at all times at Cooperative Network, trying to have our co-ops and credit unions work together as much as possible. And there are examples of that. Also, a concern for community, as Mark mentioned earlier, is really a cornerstone of cooperation in this state, and that is Principle 7. So it's no surprise to me that credit unions in this state of Minnesota are thriving because of the deep cooperative roots that we have here and the kind of people who understand that credit unions are financial cooperatives and the benefit in belonging and sort of having skin in the game, if you will. So I want to thank you all for allowing me to be here, and thanks again to Mark for letting us be a part of this. Oh, beg your pardon. I think next up is William Nelson with CHS.
Good morning. My name is William Nelson. I'm Vice President of Corporate Citizenship for CHS and President of the CHS Foundation. CHS is a farmer-owned cooperative. It's been around nearly 80 years. We were formed at a time when farmers needed to deal with a new technology issue, and that was to figure out how to secure energy and power when they no longer could provide it for themselves, as they switched from horse-drawn horsepower to gasoline and petroleum products. Today, we're the largest cooperative in the U.S. We're based in Inver Grove Heights, Minnesota. We have 600,000 members, farmer owners, spread throughout the country. About Yeah, 100,000 are direct members of CHS. About 500,000 are members of about 1,000 local cooperatives, which are locally owned businesses. And if you think about, say, if the average cooperative has 7 board members, that's 7,000 local leaders, which, you know, I don't know how you put a financial value on that, but it certainly has value in rural communities. We're also pleased that our heritage includes the formation of a foundation in 1946. So less than 8 years after the Harvest States part of our history was created, the farmers who started what is now CHS also started the foundation. So we're almost 65 years old, and the CHS Foundation today is a major contributor to education on cooperatives and getting involved in rural communities. The board members of CHS are all farmers, and those individuals also serve as the board of the CHS Foundation. Our focus in giving really is in 3 areas. The next generation of leaders in agriculture, agricultural health and safety, and then building strong rural communities. And I'll just share an example from each of those areas. In the next generation of leaders in agriculture category, we just announced a few weeks ago a 3-year, $1.5 million commitment to the National FFA Foundation, primarily for the National Teach Ag campaign. FFA and low ag programs are growing rapidly in the country, especially in urban areas. There's a shortage of teachers, and our farmer owners are trying to help out by providing support for that. Also related to that, we provide over $2 million in support to colleges and universities, scholarships, etc., and each year about $1.5 million in grants and cooperative education. One of our newest projects here locally is a $250,000 contribution to Inver Hills Community College, which is working with STEM students, high school students from throughout the state, who will start out at Inver Hills Community College, and maybe, perhaps, some of them might get interested in agriculture, and if they do, they can then transfer across the river to River Falls to finish a 4-year degree. Another area that we have invested money in has been on agricultural health and safety. Agriculture is a dangerous business, and there are a lot more new technologies that come along. There are old technologies. There are more and more people who are getting involved in agriculture who did not grow up on farms or have that background. One of the ways we're doing this is last year we announced a $3 million commitment to national ag safety. $2 million went to 5 different organizations that are directly working with farmers, with college students, in hands-on agricultural safety programs. And then another $1 million is going out in grants to help support local projects. We funded a number of community fire departments, local co-ops buying rescue equipment for grain elevators, etc. Finally, strong rural communities are important to us, and also the community that we live in here in the Twin Cities. We just completed our annual United Way campaign, raising over $1.3 million. CHS provides $1.50 for every dollar contributed by employees. And we also are very involved in Harvest for Hunger campaigns throughout the country with our local cooperatives, and have dedicated employees with support from CHS to get involved with our annual Day of Commitment to support volunteer activities. I think going forward, we understand the importance of helping do our part to feed a world of 9 billion people with basically no more water, no additional water, no additional land, which means we're going to have to deal with the resources we have now available. It's going to require a new workforce. As generations turnover, it's going to require new technologies, and it's going to definitely require a commitment to sustainability in rural communities, the environment. We're going to be launching this fall a major initiative on the soil, water, and the environment as our next major project, and we see that as essential to the future of agriculture, food, and rural communities. Thank you.
Well, before we close, it probably is one of the things that I should have done at the very beginning was just to recognize the unique nature of what cooperatives are. You know, as organizations that are created by member owners, by individuals who join together for a common purpose to build an organization to provide value to the people that belong to the organization on an equal basis throughout the organization. We have a vibrant, as you can see, vibrant community of cooperatives in the state of Minnesota. We as credit unions are a proud member of that cooperative sector, but we also recognize that the values that cooperatives have espoused since their creation, and we talk about those a lot from the 1930s. A lot of the cooperatives were born out of the Depression era as a bootstrap type of organization that commingled the resources of individuals to provide a value that was greater than the individual could do by themselves, but as a combination, they could do great things for each other. And we continue to see that today, and those values that were created in those very difficult times are values that still resonate today when we're in a much more prosperous situation that we see in our cooperatives thrive today. But they do so in large measure because we stay true to the principles that we originated with. And we put the value of people above the value of that profitability back to the organization. Now, make no mistake, we can't be thriving organizations and good business stewards if we don't generate revenue for the benefit of the cooperative. But that revenue is really generated for the benefit of the members that belong to that cooperative. And so we're seeing as a representative of that in credit unions an increasing enrollment of members into credit unions, the 1.6 million members that we see today, but that's been at an increasing pace over the last several years. And so we know that the value of cooperatives remains strong, and as long as we remain strong and dedicated to the roots from which we were created, we see a strong and vibrant future for cooperatives of all types in the state of Minnesota. So again, on Cooperative Month, in the month of October, we thank you for being here.